Hey everybody, how's it going? This is Corey. Welcome to today's video. Thanks for joining me. Today's video is going to be a reaction to basically a few words of wisdom that turned into an impromptu 4-minute speech I gave at a graduation celebration for an organization called iUrban Teen. Um, iUrban Teen, a really great nonprofit organization here, Portland, actually nationally, that's based in STEM and as well as the arts, and really brings STEM to the youth and particularly Black youth, and really inoculating them right to all the different fields and applications of STEM in the arts. Of course, I will be sure to put a link in the description to the iUrban Teen website, and to the video that I'm going to be reacting to today. I will also link to the iUrban Teen YouTube channel, which is a place where you'll find tons of content regarding iUrban Teen. So be sure to click those links that are in the description and drop a like on the video that I'm about to react to as well. And yeah, let's see what 2018 me has to say, and maybe I'll learn a thing or two. All right. First, let me join in on the congratulations to you all. You graduated. I think it's worth saying, it's not necessarily the theme of this video, but it's worth saying that this is definitely a less healthy version of myself. This is probably me 40, 50 pounds ago. So this does seem a little surreal to be looking at. You guys live in both one of the most troubling and yet one of the most fortunate time periods ever this would be even more true 2 years later. In history, or at least in modern history. We live in a period where oppression, systemic challenges are very present, which is... And still present. Both the good and bad thing. The visibility is there because of technology, because of social media. At the same time, I think it goes without saying that social media has played a huge role, right? I'm not sure if democratize is the right word, but the ability for anyone to have a voice and to share that voice and for other people to see it, I think has been monumental, right? I think that's a really, really big thing. Technology has put information right at your fingertips that everybody above the age of 30 in here, wish we had growing up. I mean, I wish I could find out. I do indeed wish that. I mean, I can imagine the damage or the good, rather, that young Corey could have done, like just knowing that whatever it is that he wanted was, whatever information that he wanted was right there, right? That, he could go to YouTube, that he could, go to Google and just find out anything it is that he wanted to know. How to build his favorite car, how to code, how to build a computer. I mean, I'm not old enough that the internet wasn't around, but it's just the prevalence of and the access and the accessibility to seeing how to do things and to just be able to just replicate that. And to have the mystery taken away and the mystique taken away and have things just be made plain is amazing. Sorry, folks, by the way, my eyes are watering because I think something got in my eye, and now I've got a halo light in my face, so it just won't stop doing it. I promise you, I am not crying. I'm not that moved, not yet, by what I'm saying. From YouTube, how to build my favorite car. Hi, YouTube. Just watch a video on it. Or how to speak another language. Or just cheat codes to a video game. We used to have to go read a magazine. It was not fun. What's funny about that is I use that example a lot all the time because, back in the day with video game magazines, everything was such a mystery. You know, whether or not a video game was coming out, if there was a certain character was going to be in the game, if how to do cheat codes, how to all this stuff. You know, people going around talking about my uncle works for Nintendo, right? Um, but now it's like there's no need for such things anymore because everything is just so out there. Like the whole nature of games have changed. But the thing that I think about this is just again, there is a certain mystique. There's a certain mystery that younger people nowadays don't have to endure sometimes, which is both a good and bad thing, right? There was something unique and imaginative and exploratory. There we go. But the thing I want to talk to you guys about a bit is not STEM or science related. The reason I focus on that is because having had a background in space and in rocket science, you want to call it that, I found out that book smarts are good, but most of your challenges in life aren't even technical. Technical things have a definite answer. I believe the expression I was looking for in the moment was behavior science is harder than rocket science. And it is. I mean, obviously rocket science is very precise and it's very easy to mess something up, such that there is a catastrophic event, right? But definitely behavior science takes a lot of finessing, and there's almost always no right answer. It's something I've learned a lot in life, right? Your education background does not determine your ability to handle human problems necessarily, right? Your emotional or social intelligence is what will determine your ability to be successful with people. So yeah, work on that psychological insight and the ability to be vulnerable and willing to listen to people and solve their problem. And sometimes just simply listen. Most problems are solved just by listening, or at least most people's dilemmas are solved just by being heard. It's black and white for the most part. Everything else is gray. And unfortunately, or fortunately, there are 7 billion plus people on this planet helping to make things more and more gray for you. They often say that to whom much is given, much is expected. Just to point something out, lots of grayness again, and there's lots of people in this world, and everyone's going to see a different shade of gray, unless we're aligning around something that really has a black and white answer. Usually it's going to be gray, and you have to know how to deal with the grayness and the ambiguity and the fact that something isn't 100% right or 100% wrong. And this is something I think in this I'm going to be imparting upon the graduates, because it's definitely the obstacle you need to kind of be able to get past in life. Knowing the right thing to do and the wrong thing to do, the black and the white, the yin and the yang, the zero or the one. That's the easy part. I mean, that's the part that is kind of on an easy structure to go do. It's the how do I wade in and deal with the gray part where there's no clarity. That's the thing that's gonna be challenging. And also, to whom much is given, much is expected. I'm not sure where I heard this first, but actually, I do know where I heard it first from my aunt Carla. She was actually the first person to actually say that I recall. I'm not sure where the statement originates. I'm not sure if it's biblical or if it's somewhere else, but whenever I think of it, I do think of my aunt Carla, because she is the one who actually said it first, and it's been in my mind ever since. And to some extent, I feel that it's also as much as you expect of yourself is what others are going to expect of you. I'm going to pause there because now I see where I was going with that. Or rather, where past me was going with that. I wish I listened to past me more, and I'm sure past me wishes he listened to that statement more. I agree. the more you expect yourself, the more people will expect of you, or rather, the more people will treat you with that expectation. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. I think I spent a lot of time in life trying to meet other people's expectations, but not necessarily, what's what I'm looking for? Not making, that's not the right word, but setting and allowing there to be consequences, boundaries, guidelines, whatever the right word is, for people not meeting mine, and making it clear what mine were such that they could meet them. And if they weren't met, this is the most important part, as a reformed, nice guy, as it were. But if those expectations weren't met, what were the consequences? And I think where this speech is coming from is from a place of me learning some things about how people may have treated me in the past. And I'm realizing that the secret, if you want to call it that, to success isn't so much about, the book smarts part of everything, which I think this a lot of this event may have focused on, or what young people are just imparted to focus on in general, especially young Black children and other minority children coming out of school. But a lot of the intangibles of success come from your belief system, your values, your conviction, and how much you are able to stick by that, enforce it, for the lack of better words. I'm sure there's a much better word than the word enforce, but I can't think of it right now. But I think what I'm realizing, and why I want to impart upon these kids is, hey, you are obviously smart. You're obviously going to do great things in your chosen field, whatever it is. But don't lose sight of yourself. And I think that's where this speech is going, if I recall. So if you expect very little, people are going to see very little. And the reason I bring this up is because I want to speak a bit to some of the challenges you're going to face growing up, maturing, becoming these great people with these grand futures that Senator Frederick was alluding to. And that's one of the things involving your sense of self-worth. And that involves really defining what are your values, what it is that is key to you, what makes you happy, what gives you a sense of joy, a sense of value add. Self-worth, definitely something I've struggled with, despite what most people probably think I should or shouldn't have struggled with, based on accomplishments and achievements and things I've done, who I am, talent, skills, whatever. But that's kind of the vice, right? Is that if I'm not achieving or doing something, well, at least in the past, right? If I wasn't achieving or doing something, I didn't have a sense of value or worth. I really promise you, I am not crying here, but man, this eye will not stop. Anyway, but the thing is that, not tying what you do, what you produce for other people, to your sense of self-worth, I think is the key thing. And I think that's something I was struggling with at the time, whether it's because of relationships, weight, the way things are going at work, on my job, whatever the case may be. So I think it's just one of the truest things that people have to realize is that you must have your own sense of value, or else you're going to fall into a lot of traps. I myself have had my values rewritten many times, or at least muddled. I won't say rewritten. I haven't changed to try to be a different person, nothing crazy. But my values have not been as clear in my 30s as they were going into my 30s, and I think that's incredibly interesting. Belonging. Think like a statesperson, someone who, as Senator Frederick said, is considering how do you make things better for those who come after you. The reason I say this is because if you come into your adult world with a major definite purpose of some kind. Um, yeah, think like a statesperson. My mentality has generally been the vision, the mission, and then the people. That kind of thing. And thinking ahead, thinking in the future, thinking of your legacy. And in fact, my focus has now become more of how do I have or accomplish or develop, build, grow, whatever word you want to use, a living legacy, right? How do I, instead of thinking about legacy in terms of after I'm gone, think about my legacy in terms of while I'm here and then after I'm gone. For a long time, I think I went with the whole building a legacy and then, okay, at least I know I did some good. And now it's more like, no, do some good now, build that legacy, watch it, grow in it. I think sometimes if you focus too much on legacy, it can be kind of a self-sacrificial kind of look towards things. And when you have that view, that starts to lead into the issues you may or may not have with self-worth or your value or your self-esteem. So thinking more in terms of a living legacy, I think is what will enable you to think of others, be a statesperson, think of making things better for the world within your purview, and at the same time maintaining your value set or your sense of self-worth. Or it doesn't be completely clear. Life is life. You're going to grow, change, mature. It all happens. But if you have some kind of compass pointing you somewhere, whether that is based on your religion, is based on your family values, something you've written down, the fact that you keep your head in some books and critical thinking, whatever it is for you, as long as you have that compass, you are going to be a lot more successful at mitigating a lot of the things that life says to you that may disparage you or take you off course. Because right now, it may seem like life... for sure. The only way through ambiguity is to create some kind of direction and go. Being in an ambiguous situation, also known as living, but being in any ambiguous situation, a place where there's no clarity, you don't know which way to really go for sure. And not having a compass, not having a set of values, a sense of direction as to who you are, where you're going, what you're going to do, what you're about, is going to lead you to spiral, right? And meander and go around and do things instead of cutting through that fog, that ambiguity, that uncertainty, that insecurity, right? That is incredibly vital. Disparage you or take you off course. Because right now, it may seem like life tells you no a lot. Hate to say this, but life actually gets very good, even better at telling you no, the older and older you get. Man, I tell this to young folks all the time. You're going to feel like things are telling you no. You're going to feel like, honestly, there's a reduced amount of opportunity in some ways. And that's because right now your sphere is a bit smaller, right? Your focus generally, not for all young people, different people in different stages of their life and different responsibilities and expectations based on the family, based on culture, based on whatever. But your expectation is that, man, things are hard and I am, unable to do this or do that, or this is going to be a challenge. And man, life, it gets worse. I don't know how to say it. It does get worse. But it doesn't get worse in a way that, things are bad and you should just give up and have no hope. That's not what I mean at all. When I say things get worse, I mean like you are told no so much more the further you get. And what's worse is that when you're younger, that no feels a little bit more direct. It feels a little bit more definitive, right? You can't go outside with your friends. You can't go on a date. You can't, do this until you're 18, whatever. But when you get older, it's like life finds a way to just say, you can't do this for this reason. And this reason won't be something that's a definitive, hey, once this ends, you can do it. It'll be more of a subtle, because you don't have what it takes, or because you are X and X can't do this, or because you are Y and Y shouldn't do that, or you just don't have what it takes, or so and so can and you can't because so and so is viewed as better. Again, now starting to mess with your sense of self-worth. And the thing is that the options when you're younger for the things that you're told no to are way smaller than those things that you're going to get told no to towards. The things that people are going to say no to you about when you're older. There's so many other things that you're going to be trying to do, trying to get into, you're going to have to manage, and you may be told no on so many things and have to really, really, really push for the opportunity to do something, or to have something, or to fight for something, or to not have something happen to you. Because life gets really good at telling you no in a way that just will make you want to give up. In fact, the challenge is that not only does it get better at saying no more forcefully, it learns how to do it in an informal way where you can't tell it's telling you no. Grammar checking myself here. I think I meant indirectly, not informally, but I guess informally also works. Yeah. Basically, past me just said everything I just said. And if you have that major purpose, whatever it is in life, you're going to find yourself able to break through that barrier and stop life. And life, by life, I mean other people, other things, circumstances, from telling you no. So you can get to that major future that was talked about earlier. Again, when life is telling you no and you're getting older, some things will be definitive, some things will be ambiguous, some things, again, will be indirect, and will keep you in kind of a limbo, right? In a state of ambiguity, or a state of not starting, not making progress, kind of not sure if you're coming or going, or sitting there in kind of a bit of a spiral. But going back to what I was saying before, whether it's me or past me, if you have a purpose, a definite mission, is based on your values, you have that compass, you'll cut through that. You may take a while to cut through it, but you'll cut through it. And it's certainly better than sitting there and spiraling. It's better to cut through something, come out a different side, and then realize, oh, okay, now I have my bearings, I know where I'm at. Now I can go back and cut through in a different direction, or to just go a totally different way altogether, than it is to stay in the ambiguity. And life gets really good at making you stay in the ambiguity, in the stifled mode, in the stuck mode of things, because it's telling you no in a lot of definitive ways, but it's also telling you no in a lot of non-definitive ways. So you're like, which way do I go between a rock and a hard place? I can't tell, what's happening. I feel like I'm getting mixed signals. And again, that's the peril of the ambiguity of life, and why it's important to have those values. Because when you're going through life, and again, like I said earlier, that life can be people, it can be circumstances, it could be in your relationships where you feel like you're getting mixed signals, it could be at work where you feel like you're busting your tail and you're not getting the reward you deserve, but you know you could do better elsewhere, right? It could be in your education and feeling like, hey, this is really hard and I don't know where things are going or how I'm doing, or whether this is the right career for you, or maybe you're just losing your passion for something, right? And if you find yourself in that stuck or in that rut situation, losing your passion, then it's like, okay, what are your values? What do you like? What do you align to? And then taking that, using it to cut through that ambiguity, or cut through that spiral that you're in, that sense of stuckness or that rut, and then moving forward. Again, it all comes down to what you value, and where your passions lie, and what is critical to you. What is your purpose? Because that's going to help you really define who you are. Take it from an older person. Not that old, but an older person who has gone through some of these early onset midlife feelings, right? That feelings of stuckness, feelings of lack of purpose. That it's vitally important that you feel this way. So once again, congratulations, and I again really implore you to spend a lot of time defining what is your major definite purpose. Thank you. Yeah. Again, just to close this out, thanks for listening. But what's important to me about this, and why I discovered that this video existed, and I kind of recalled in my head what this was going to be about, because I kind of remember giving the speech. There was an interview that actually Jacksepticeye was doing with The Rock and Kevin Hart for Jumanji 2. It was like a presser or something, or what do you call it? A press junket. And they were talking about mental health, but it went into the sense of purpose and knowing where you're going in life and all this other stuff. And I remember, and I tell the story to everybody all the time, why I don't know, but it just feels like it really connects to me. But when did you really start to discover who you were, right? The sense of your purpose and what you value and what you were about in life. And I remember, The Rock said, around the time I was 40. And then, Kevin Hart, I think, was about to turn 40, or, he was on his way. And he was saying the same thing. He was like, yeah, I'm just now discovering who I really am and what I really stand for. And by that same token, I find myself on the precipice of 40, having the same feeling, right? It's like, wow, what am I really about? Who am I really, trying to be as far as, this whole Corey 4.0 thing. And I find myself in a similar boat. I'm really starting to finally realize who I am or what I value after, some of those values getting years of neglect, right? Whether it be my creativity, certain other things like, being able to practice my wisdom a lot more. My creativity is actually, this is part of the reason why this channel exists, and also the Superhuman 581 channels, because of my desire to practice creativity, my desire to want to connect with people a lot more, and also because I wanted an outlet to be able to mentor beyond the stuff I do in real life, but share insights and things I wish I knew, right? In a space that would be really cool. Or at least a space that would stoke the other things I'm passionate about. So anyway, I said all that to say, this is cathartic for me, because this is something I'm wrapping up or still going through and working with various coaches and different things while I do it. Different mechanisms, workshops, things like that, to really hone in on my value set, and got a really good cadre of people who are helping me do that, which is really great. So saying all that, I appreciate you taking the time to watch this. If you liked what you saw, please press that like button. Please subscribe to the Corey Frazier YouTube channel. And of course, if you also want to check out some of the the video game, anime, all that good stuff, creative interests I have, please skip over to the Superhuman 581 channel as well. Again, I thank you for watching, and I will catch you all later.